Call the meeting to order.
So, somebody want to take minutes, I suppose?
I'm jotting as I'm going.
Okay.
Approval of the agenda, but we need to put on here, there's committee vacancies. There we go. We have on here continuing business, walking tour, educational opportunities, committee vacancies, new business, renew the nominations for Perkins and the Depot, and then future projects. So, anybody want to move to approve the agenda?
I'll make a
They're
motion to
posted.
approve the agenda.
Second.
Thanks, Steve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. And the minutes of the previous meeting, did you get a chance to take a look at them?
Yep.
There's going to be a Christmas tour by 2015. There's a Christmas tour home, so we need to get on that.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as read.
Steve?
Second.
Yeah. When do you do that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Okay. Continuing business. Apparently we talked about a walking tour more than once. And maybe you can give us some background on how that was supposed to be for the 4th of July reunion. That didn't happen, did it?
No.
And it was probably, I think it would have been a great idea, like we talked, but there was just, you can hardly find anybody to do anything that
I know.
week. Maybe this next week or year would be different. We could still do something without, having the old school classroom and all that stuff.
There's a lot going on. I still think we need, at the Preserve Iowa Summit, they were talking about programs that they do actually have in place that you could do it actually through a cell phone program, so that people could you could set up a walking tour. I mean, you could do a paper one too, but I mean, you could set it up as a tour through Shanna. Is it Shanna Lodi? Shanna was talking about I believe it was a seminar she did that was talking about
Can
ways
tell you how much it costs, right?
it's free.
It's free.
Great.
Through what?
I'd have to go back to my notes on that. No, it wasn't Sean. It was somebody. It was a.
Brooke? Amy? No?
I'm not going to come up with a name. I'm sorry, but I mean, they're setting up various tours and that kind of stuff throughout the state that you can do in cell phones, and it wouldn't be much information, but it would be a way that we could actually do something. And the Arts Council is planning to do a cemetery walk on September 13th, and
Really? I haven't heard anything about that yet.
that publicity's just coming out.
What you're talking about, though, would be good. I think we could get, kids are always on their cell phones. Maybe that would be a way to get, we could do the architectural. Maybe we could try that on the phone to get the kids more involved.
It might be a good idea to plan one for next year for Chautauqua Days, because the facade program is supposed to be done in February. Is that correct? So
They've got 180 days from 3 weeks ago.
I think that would be a good thing to do.
So, it'd be a good time to talk about the buildings and everything, because
think
it'll
that
be
would-
right done.
Yeah, I do. And I like the idea if we could use the cell phones, because I think we'd get more of the kids involved because they'd be using their phones.
I mean,
Is it cool?
I think we can do something paper or non-paper, but I mean, and we could potentially also do something that would link it either to a chamber website or a city website.
So were you talking like just like a tour guided by phone?
Yeah.
Just want to make sure it's on the same page.
I mean, it wouldn't be a tour where you would go into the houses, but
Right.
kind of start at the log cabin and walk to the museum or whatever. I mean,
Well, and I was also thinking, we mentioned before about doing the architectural, giving them a picture of like something that's on one of the houses, and then they would have to find it.
Find the house.
I'd like to get
Kinda like-
started with that.
I think that would be good. I do.
Do they just do the tour like a YouTube or something? So people can actually walk along, have somebody talk to you about these things, or what?
No, it's not much information. It's like one screen of just,
Here's where you go.
here's where you, I mean, one screen per house. It's not a huge, it's like one photo, one screen.
I would like us to do a tour at some point of some of our houses inside and stuff. I would be interested. I know that's hard to do, but
I mean, I
Well,
think,
and I thought Bruce's idea to do that at Christmas time, because people decorate at Christmas
and
time.
actually, Bobby Wells would be willing to do that if it went into December. She doesn't want to be too close to Thanksgiving. She wants to celebrate Thanksgiving.
Right. But she always decorates her wood.
Barb
Liz would do it.
would do it. I mean,
I'd do it if my house was done. It's not.
Yep, we're good, thanks.
I mean, I would be willing to participate. I mean, my house isn't as historic, but it's pretty period to when it was built.
Right.
If we got a fourth house, I think we could actually do something for that.
My house would have to be done on the outside before I could go, because my house was built in 1917, so
But I mean,
it's not done.
if we could get,
Yeah, if we could get another 4 houses, that would be good.
I mean, I don't, like, does anybody know glasses that well? I mean, I'm thinking if we could get, so like 4,
Abby and Charlie?
yeah, like 4 houses that were kind of in a same neighborhood that you could kind of park in, like,
he's a classmate of mine.
Is he a classmate?
Charlie is, we've been in that house a couple times
Yeah.
for a tour like that, so, you know, I'm sure it looks a lot different now with all the kids and everything in there than it did before. But,
It's a lived in.
yes, I would just,
It's
yeah, that's what I
okay,
mean.
Yeah. Would you want to talk to him, Brandy? And see?
Yeah, I can reach
Just
out
kind
to
of
him.
feel him out?
or,
That way we'd kind
She'll
of
tell you
have
no
them,
if she doesn't want to.
would be kind of nice, because they'd be just in that same area.
I mean, you could almost park in the Presbyterian Church parking lot in that area, and you could walk them. I mean, I think that would be a really
Right.
kind of an exciting thing to do. And nobody is doing a Christmas tour at this point.
Well, the Catholic Church, you know,
They did
last year, but
Is it every
No.
other year?
No, they didn't.
they didn't do one last year because they couldn't find enough houses.
I'm told that they aren't planning to do any more.
Yeah, so,
What about Joyce O'Toole? I think people would.
That'd be
well,
cool.
it would be cool.
That would be neat. Yeah.
I will say something to Joyce. She's kind of, you never know with Joyce. I will talk to her about it.
I mean, if we had 5 houses,
sitting over here?
I'm overflowing over there.
Okay.
Sorry.
I will talk to Joyce. and
another one
see
I thought
if
of
she'd be
was
interested.
the old church,
The church, the Episcopal Church. Yeah.
the house, the corner of 9th and Main. He died. I'm
Oh, Corbin's? Pam?
Ornaments. I don't know her very well.
Cheryl does.
I mean,
That might be a possibility.
that if we could kind of do a cluster of
Right.
houses kind of in the central historic district, I do think that would be an exciting venture to do.
Yeah. So how many are you? If we could get those, we would have 6. If we could get all of those. And they'd be all right in that area.
No, I mean, if we got, sometimes I think it's better to have a few more,
Right.
and
Options.
a few more options, but
Joyce sometimes is pretty private about it, but I think
She is,
people have
but
been
I will talk
so
to Joyce and see what she has to say. I know Joyce pretty
Interesting to
well,
see
but
it.
she is, yeah, she is quite private. But
I was in it before Dennis died.
Want to reach out to Pam?
I'll have Cheryl do it. They're pretty close.
I mean, that would be,
yeah,
I think that would be kind of a neat way to highlight some of the historic homes that we have in town.
You're probably going to be looking at a calendar of Christmas events and stuff. Maybe you could suggest some dates that might fit into whatever you guys are doing.
She
So,
didn't know if you wanted one or not, so if you didn't want one, just take that one.
I want one.
Thank you. Any mail?
yeah. Surely not eating
okay,
hers.
so we would want it sometime in December, because I mean, Joyce is gonna ask, when about your thinking.
Well, Brandy can look at maybe a proposed Christmas calendar with Chamber Main Street activities and they would know. Do you guys all have an open house type thing?
We always have the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
No, that's right. So I was thinking something was the second weekend in December. What was that?
Is that when we kicked off Santa in the past?
First Thursday.
Was it? The first Thursday in December?
It must have been in a fog last year. I don't remember anything. So
But,
Some of those dates that we just set once upon a time for the chamber, so we didn't have to worry about our calendar events
yeah,
for SCTV.
yeah. I don't read.
Well, I'll wait and to hear from
But-
you what
Are we
you're-
on a weekend or?
I think you're better off on a Saturday because you get more people.
Was it the FA, didn't they do some Santa thing at the school last year? Was that the second Saturday in December? They did like Santa at the elementary school and
I don't
I
know.
don't remember.
do you remember
You're
Santa
gonna
at
have
the
to go back and
elementary school?
look. We don't know.
well, that one wasn't on our calendar of events.
Oh,
It just
wasn't?
kind of popped up.
When
I
the kids
remember
were?
happening.
Santa
Okay.
in Kids World?
So the weekends in,
What was it?
I think that was Saturday after the beginning of the
so if we're looking at weekends, I mean, there's December 5th, which is Saturday, there'd be December 12th. I don't think you'd want to go to the 19th.
No, but will they give Bobby time to decorate her house after
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving? 'Cause I don't know.
Well, we usually have the ornament party someplace in there, so
Oh, but see,
Yeah, you usually
the,
have
the,
it the second week.
the good news is that Thanksgiving is the 26th of November. So if we went to so there's a weekend in November after Thanksgiving.
that'd give her plenty of time to decorate.
Yeah, it
so
would.
that'd give her an extra almost week.
the last weekend in November.
No, in sometime in December.
Usually this is when you guys have your party is in here.
Yeah, I think it was 11th or something last
Yeah.
year. So, but we have had it as early as like the 3rd. We had that the year before that. So yeah, I don't know.
I usually have mine on the first Monday, but that would be the 7th.
I mean, is that,
Saturday or Sunday best? Saturday.
What do you guys think?
Well, Saturday the stores would be open. Well, Sunday you would too. However many there are of you, will be open, right? We need to have a ribbon coming in the side.
I don't, I would say either. I guess my only question is, are we asking these people to go stupid, like, decorating like the tour of homes have always been, or
I
are
don't
we
think they
saying?
need to be decorated because this is more about historical
We're
architecture.
Right.
talking more architecture than,
The thing is, though,
Decorations, right?
you're going to get more people. I'm sorry. You're going to get more people in the house if they know it's decorated for Christmas.
yeah.
Well, it'll be decorated.
It'll be
Yeah, but I mean,
decorated,
not
but
go
I'm not
overboard.
saying stupid,
Right.
like it is where basically, Giftique takes a house, we take
Right,
a house.
right.
And, you jam pack
Right.
4 van loads extra into it.
No, I think if they just decorate like they
Well, Bruce was
normally
kind of
do.
hoping you'd do that. Can you tell?
But I mean, most people decorate for Christmas without going
Yeah,
overboard.
yeah.
I know Bobby, she just has everything.
She has
in
stuff
there, but that's-
everywhere, so.
She does that anyway.
Because that's her home. That's
Yeah.
her home. Yeah, right.
So I don't,
But I'm just asking, in regards to some of these other people.
I think it's more important that you see the architectural
Right.
home than it is
Right.
That's what I was hoping. That's our goal.
overloaded with decorations. So
Right.
but I mean, I think,
Compromise of the two.
I put so few up anyway.
I guess I would, if people want help, they could probably
Sure.
find some. I personally, nothing against Details or Giftique, but I would really rather do it myself, thank you.
right,
Sure.
right.
Sure.
Well, and a lot of people would.
A lot of people do.
Because
yeah.
they
Have their
know
own
where they
style.
want, they have their
Yeah.
own style. And I think that, like you said, that's the way to do it.
I mean, I personally don't like the Christmas tours of homes where you go and the bathtub is so filled with balloons and
Yeah.
Santa
Yeah.
Claus, that,
Oh, it's got
Yeah.
crazy.
It is.
But that's just my own personal.
So when we're talking to them, we can just say, however you decorate.
Yes, yes.
It's your home.
However you decorate, and if you would like some help, we would be happy to try and find some help for
Right.
you too.
It's more important, I think, that you have a flyer on the home that talks about the history of the home.
Right.
Right.
So,
Right. All right. Maybe one flyer that talks about the history of all the homes.
Right.
But
Not my pen. I'm just really screwed up today. You got an
I've got-
extra one?
No, but I'll share you with you.
All right. I'm just gonna-
so we have kind of people's assignments.
Well, it looks like it's like we got Randy will check in with Abby Charlie, and Jackie will check with Joyce O'Toole, and Steve Sharp will check with Pam. And then we need to assemble some history of the homes, which it should be pretty easy to do. Some of them, somewhere there's a file. With that planning for preservation is probably
Probably in
enough.
the basement in that first cabinet. That old. That stuff is still there. I just checked
don't let
yesterday.
don't let anything leave that building,
Yeah.
will ya? Because
And we
we've
need
lost too much stuff. God only know, whatever went to Walt Lake, we probably lost, so.
I think she probably left more than.
Then we
She
know.
Yeah, I
needed
think
to.
she left more than you think.
Good. It's a good thing, because I've been up there more than once trying to help people find the stuff they need, so. Okay, why don't you check then on the calendar, try to put together a
I can
tentative.
look at last year's, which gives me a pretty good idea of when people want to do.
Just email us, and so we know when we can work it out. 'Cause then they can go and ask the people. So the sooner you can get the information to them, the better.
Yeah.
Okay, educational opportunities. I know the downtown summit is coming up. There'll be 3 of us going, so that will help. And most everything is held in eastern Iowa, I swear to God. Last one was in Washington again. If we had a topic for historical preservation that we wanted somebody to come here and make a presentation, we could certainly invite them to come here and do it. That way it brings it closer to all of us to attend. But if we don't, because that's why they're doing is they're actually offering to host it. So if there's a topic,
I believe the grant deadline preview, was that today? Was that the email I
I
got for
think
that?
so. I don't know. I've been working with too many communities on too many grants, but I remember sending it out to you guys. So that's
I did go to the Preserve Iowa Summit, which was very good this year. There have been quite a few webinars. I've caught a few of them.
Bobby went to.
Kind of a reverse educational opportunity, but had kind of fun. I went into the schools. The second graders did a project on local history. And they went to the library and did some research. I went and talked all the second graders together, and an hour is a long time to talk to second graders. But they were supposed to give me questions about what they were going to be researching. Never got those, so I hurriedly threw a PowerPoint together of a whole bunch of old images, and they were really excited about it. And their projects are really pretty good. They're up at the library if you want to, check them out. They're it was neat to have, and it's something that they hope to continue. So that's maybe one way that we can say that we are reaching into the.
Well, I have to
schools.
say, that when they were at the museum, they were telling us that, you'd come and talk to them, and they were really excited about the things that you had talked to them about. And
My favorite, I picture of little twin boys from like 1902 or something like that. And then they were looking at, of course, they were in baptismal dresses. Well, what can you tell me about these? Oh, well, they're baby girls. Well, no, actually, let's look at their names. There's, there's Elvin and Melvin here. Oh, they're in dresses. My mom's pregnant. We haven't told anybody yet, but she's going to have a baby.
you can never. Yeah. How's the mouths of babes? When was the Preserve Iowa Summit? Was that in June?
That was the end of June, yeah.
Sometime.
June 25th, 7th,
Something like that. I know I was headed there and that didn't work out, so. Okay, anyway, back to the topic. If you can think of a topic that even if it was something to do with museum stuff, preserve and protect, stuff like that. I mean, we had Jerome Thompson come out and do displays before and had CLG people come and do a bunch of stuff. And I know that, let's see, Rebecca Conard, I saw her the other day. She's the one that did the planning for preservation study with us with Tallgrass historians back in 1993. And she's gonna teach one more year, and then I think she's coming back to Lakeview to reside, so she'd be a good resource, so. Okay, committee vacancies. I asked Brandy to come because it's essential that we have Brandy on the committee. Chamber of Main
Unfortunately,
Street,
it
so
has to be a city resident to be on it.
I don't think it has to be.
It has to be.
Well, where did you find this?
It is in the city code, it's in the Iowa code. I did talk
It's
to
in the
Paul.
city ordinance?
Yes.
And Brandy, you're not a city resident anymore? Oh, that's how I saw
I
it.
mean, I wish it would work, but I'm just saying that, you know, I talked to Paula Moore too, and she says, yeah, that's the state code, which is what was copied into the city ordinance.
And you found the city ordinance from 1992. So I know where that was too.
Now, we can, we can have her ex officio, we can do anything we want,
Well,
that
she
way.
needs to be in on the committee stuff
Yeah,
in order for us to tie all this together, so.
My information, I'd like to be.
yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm just saying that that's a little bit of a hurdle.
You know, I'm wondering then if we should ask somebody like Bobby that has a historical home, or
So how many do we need? 2?
We need 2.
supposedly we're supposed to have 5. So can't tell you whether we've ever been full in sermon. Can't tell you whether we've ever all shown up
Are
at
you all
meetings and
finished with
stuff.
this
So
plate?
Yes,
it'd be
thank you.
nice to be able to have somebody on there that's going to be attending some of the educational stuff,
Right.
because we do have to report that at the end of the year. And if you put people on that they're never going to go, that doesn't help.
That
So,
don't help you a bit.
so.
Bobby did go to the Preserve Iowa Summit.
When we went to the
Downtown
downtown,
Summit.
the downtown assessment, what was it
Yeah,
called?
And I hadn't been, I couldn't even
Amherstburg.
tell you last time I went, but I am going to this one in this month.
Forum.
Downtown
Summit.
Forum, that's what it was.
They're fun.
So that would have
time.
been
Learn a lot.
But
Bobby-
I'm not- years
Bobby went there.
Before I went to a lot of them.
April 11th,
Eastern
wasn't it?
Iowa.
For some reason, I
Yeah,
don't know.
well, yeah, that was in April.
I have that someplace, because
I went back and checked the ordinance, and I emailed with Paula Moore, who is the CLG coordinator, and she says, well, I personally don't have a problem with it, but this is what the state law says.
Well,
And
They should change the state law because we're rural communities.
yes, exactly. The only place that it really affects is government-wise, so.
yeah, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that,
Is what it is.
as one of my college professors used to say, you can't have opinions about the truth. And
Well, Bobby's attended the downtown forum, and also then you said she went to the Preserve Iowa Summit, so
Iowa Summit.
maybe we should ask her if she's, willing to sit in on this, because she'd be a natural then for it.
She's going to the downtown.
Is she? I'm gonna put
and she's
that
going
down,
to the
too.
one in this month too.
we can have as many ex officio kind of people, advisors, as we want.
Well, then I think we should move to put Brandy on as an ex officio member so that we have her, so. I can't make the motion, so.
I make no, I
Okay.
move.
I'll second it.
Are there any rules how long we can be ex officio?
There's not, the ex officio isn't even in the ordinance. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. That's interesting. We could always change the city ordinance, though. Well, we'll have to, does somebody want to talk to Bobby? Will you see Bobby?
I
You
just
see
talk to
Bob?
her.
Yep, okay.
We talk to each other every day, so.
I was gonna say, I bet you do. Okay, let's take a look at the reviews, because I know Jackie's got to get going. So first is Perkins. I think we talked about some of the issues before you got here, Brandy. We were throwing out different things anyway.
Well, I think we got those on, that one corrected. That was all that needed to be corrected on the north.
There's a direction.
Yeah, the
house.
picture on
The
page-
picture on page
44.
44.
And like I said, there was a question in regards to you know, I understand if you're tying them together, probably southeast is correct for the carriage house location. And then, like I said, I wondered about that introduction on the summary paragraph. That's the only thing that I can come up with.
They probably should match the populations in the two of them.
Yeah,
I don't care what number you use, but you should match them.
Yeah.
yeah, and I will when
See
I
that.
mean, they're already submitted, they will be reviewed in October, and then I'll just make sure they match when I,
Like we did the last
Yeah.
time.
But like I said, that's the only concerns I had.
Bruce, can I ask you a question?
sure.
Are you gonna try and get the Carlson House or?
Yes, I'm working on
He's
that.
working on that.
I'm working on that. They have agreed, I'm doing that and historic tax credits for them. They've agreed to take, you can go back 5 years for historic tax credits. They've agreed to put all the money back into the property that they'll get in tax credits.
I'm glad.
Are they coming back?
Yeah, they plan to. I want to.
Good.
You were saying, where are they? Hell, I don't know. I think they're on
I
the West
also,
Coast. So.
Hometown Pride, I talked to them, they're buying paint and we're going to get volunteers and get the porch all one color. Just kind of as a goodwill gesture to say, you know, we appreciate what you're doing, please keep going.
I'm glad you're gonna do that. I had Laura, used to be Carlson, played golf with her last week and she wondered what was going on with that, so.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a lot of work in that building.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done the hard stuff. The fun stuff is kind of left in some ways. But
So
yeah,
when will you turn that nomination in so we know when we have to have another meeting?
it depends. I don't have it all written yet. I mean, I've got about 100 pages of it done.
Wait, we'll have to have another meeting on this when he gets it back from, right?
No.
No, we
Nope,
don't.
this is
Okay,
it.
this
This
is
is
it.
it.
This is it.
So
Okay.
what
Okay.
we're supposed to do basically is determine whether the properties nominated have enough historic integrity to deserve to be on it. I mean,
Right,
Just our approval of.
right.
Yeah.
basically, we're the local arms that get to look at the buildings up close. You know,
We need to have 3 or 4 meetings.
we have to
Right.
get 3 meetings in this year.
Yeah. I swear to God, we've had 2 already. It seems like.
I thought we did too, because I remember having one
Did
here,
you guys meet for
Beef.
the,
and
Yeah.
then one over at Steve's.
I'm having a trouble.
Yeah, we had one at details.
That was
Yeah.
December 31st.
Right.
That was
the last one?
That was the last one we
That was
had.
the last one. See, and I thought we met here too, but
But we met here, but that was before that.
before that, okay.
Is that the Monument Square when we reviewed that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was the
yeah.
last time we met.
That's the
I
last time
swear
I
to
see.
God, that
I
was
thought we
this
did.
year.
I just think that was that long ago.
I didn't either.
It would have had to have been since I've been gone.
We meet too much, Steve.
Yeah, that was,
I do have it. We've talked about this before, and about the fence at the cemetery.
Hey, wait a minute. First,
Okay, sorry.
let's have a motion and approval for these
I'll make
2
a-
nominations.
I'll make
Okay.
a motion to.
Second.
It's not-
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
and I do have papers that you will need to sign for this, Shirley.
Okay.
We can do those in
Do we have a dry table here? My glass is leaking.
I was gonna say, I don't.
I got water here for you.
Okay, now Jackie, now you can talk about it.
Okay, this is old business, I know. We've talked about the fence at the cemetery. I did go and look at it, and there are some things, you know, the little things that are missing. But before Bob Shepherd passed away, he had bought some. So if we could find it that would work, there are little pieces that had rusted through that held the fence together in places. But after looking at it, it's not in that bad a shape. I think if we had it put back up and we got volunteers to take steel wool to it and use the new spray paints that are for rust, you know, that we could get that up and it would look good again without spending $10,000 on it, you know. And I think we could get enough volunteers to help do that.
I was just down there last weekend. It would look a lot better with fence back up.
It would. And honestly, I mean, I did the cemetery for 2 years in a row at one time. Never saw deer. ever on the, that's the first deer I have ever heard of being
They're
on there.
everywhere.
You know, and they're everywhere, and you just can't.
One less
I don't
to
know.
hit by a car if they get pinned in
If
the
it hangs
fence.
up on the fence, just
Yeah.
wait, Shirley.
The guy's like, I chased it there.
So,
It's better than having
I
run
don't know,
beside
what do
your
you guys
car.
think
You're
about it?
running, You're like,
I
what?
mean,
I think it's a good project. I know at one time Curtis was supposed to be the chairperson of that project.
well, he came up with all kinds of ideas to do, to raise the fence up,
Right.
put concrete down below, put the fence up high enough that they wouldn't jump over. Then he was taking it to somebody else and they were gonna sandblast it and it was like $10,000 to $15,000.
Yeah, I don't think I don't
We
think we
don't.
need to do.
$90,000.
90.
90?
The piles are falling apart. They're not going to hold up. If you try to attach anything to it, they're just going to crumble.
The pillars.
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 Yeah, the pillars do need work. But
The pillars were.
on the end of, before the pillar, there was a, they're
There-
still out there,
there's
the
a-
bigger, thick,
Yeah, the wrought posts
Right.
are there, the wrought iron posts are
the
still
wrought
there.
iron
That are-
posts
yeah,
are
that it
still
was
there,
attached
so
to
they
that.
were attached to that more
Those
so
pillars do
than
need work
the
though.
pillars.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's,
But the pillars, you know, they have no significance to the fence. The pillars
No,
are
but-
there to, when they had gates, years
Right,
and years and years
and I mean,
ago.
they're still of historical,
yeah.
you know, but
You know-
we could still put the fence up. But was it like, it was 90,000, but that was with the pillars,
pillars.
right?
To buy new
Right.
fence or what? I
No,
don't know.
it was 76,000 for the pillars, and then it was going to be 20,000 to straighten and powder coat the fence, and that was prior to figuring out a way to make it stand up,
Okay, okay.
because it's not going to stand up on its own. It's not going to
Well-
self-suspend the way that it did.
Yeah, but there were also, before they tore it down, there was rods that came up from behind.
Staked them?
That staked them up too. And I don't know if they're all there. I didn't.
They are,
They
mostly
are?
there.
Okay.
I'll just throw this out. That would be a definite beautification project for the community.
You would consider that as a beautification project then?
Especially since it's a main entry into town.
Okay. But I do think it needs to be put
I mean-
back up, you guys, because it just
I do
looks
too.
forlorn.
It looks empty.
It does. I really do think it needs to be done.
I think,
And I was just thinking, I know, because I mean, 10,000 or whatever it was,
90,000.
that, you know,
Yeah.
that, where are we going to get that kind of money? And so I was thinking, you know, after looking at it, that we could do it and it would look good, you know, by doing that.
I mean, the only reason I'm using it, you know why I'm using the beautification word.
Right, because
And,
yeah,
and
there could be some money there.
there
for
could be
it.
some money available. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know if I want to work this hard or not. Our inventory of historic properties would indicate that that also is an historic property. If that were on the National Register, that would also be, there would be grant monies that we could possibly get to go toward that.
Should be, even if it's eligible. There should be grant funds
Right.
available.
Yeah.
And we
Right.
know it's
Okay.
eligible,
Well, that
so.
would be a good thing. Because I really do think that was a good project, you know, and I know it.
I mean, I
But
guess-
the money issue was a lot of the, you know, trying to,
The money couldn't be overcome. The
Yeah,
money and the
it's too
stable
much.
and making the fence stable couldn't be overcome.
that was the reason for the concrete then?
What we're going to do is create. You were talking about plugs that stand up. What we're going to do is just create new ones out of steel posts, not posts, but
Yeah,
and bury those in and then dig down, concrete it up, so it would be stable
right.
for 100 years, rather than just have these things stuck in the ground like they did
Well,
in the
that makes
past.
sense.
And then that would help it float and have
Right.
its correct look.
Well, the stanchions are the things that are there. How come they didn't take them out? Because they couldn't get them out or what?
I don't know. I don't know if they're
I don't
concreted
know
in
if
or
they're
what.
concrete, because I do know that some things, those things that were kind of down in there in concrete, because I know they cut some things off.
If they started taking those off, the pillars would have fallen apart.
Oh, okay. Because it, you know, it doesn't, when you look at it, it doesn't look like it's that close to
I
those
didn't think it was
pillars.
connected.
I didn't either.
Is there any
I'd have to go
historic
look.
pictures of the cemetery?
The only,
Very good ones from the front.
The only one I was able to find was from the last cemetery walk. It's one that Ron Nelson had taken, but he didn't like the way the fence looked, so he photoshopped it and changed it.
I mean, we do, I
Yeah,
was
it's
trying to
helpful.
think.
I didn't know if there was
look and
anything
see if
in
there was any
the
old.
books or anything like that.
I haven't.
Maybe
There might
before
be
the
one in the
pillars.
reflections book. In that old brown book.
I've seen a picture of the front gate,
Yeah,
but I can't remember where
might be in that brown book.
it might be, and then it might be in the.
I know that when they were talking about the fence at one point, Wilma contacted me to see if I had any photos because she said
And
there
she-
weren't any at the
okay.
museum.
All right, then
And I'll
there is
bet
a
it's in the
cheese.
book.
I don't know if it's in the book or not.
You know what? I'm not so sure it's not in that the little book.
There's a picture in the little book, but it doesn't show the fence.
No, I don't think it does either.
I
Because
just
the one
want-
I'm thinking of shows more of the pillars with the gate rather than the fence. You might be able to see just a little bit of the fence, but I can't think where I saw that.
To me, in looking at the building myself, or, in the front there, it looks like the pillars are an afterthought. Not
The
necessarily.
stone pillars?
Yeah. Not at the same time as the.
Well, the stone
Yeah.
pillars would have had to go up before the iron fence did,
Yeah.
Steve, because there's no way they could have laid the stone pillars with that fence there.
Okay.
That close,
Not
yeah.
that close.
I don't know, I'd have to go out and look at it, but anyway, well,
Did we make a motion on both properties?
yep, yep. Just
Well,
minimum
and
property.
just so you know, I mean, it'll probably last 20 years before it starts literally falling apart.
Right.
Here's-
Well, and if
here's
you're gonna
the
do it,
picture
you
of the
want it
Oakland
longer
Cemetery
than that.
that's in
It's
that-
just that,
that
you know,
little
the
book.
money thing was the big issue,
the
wasn't
little
it,
book,
mainly?
Well, that's an expensive style to build
Yeah.
because what they have to do is just completely take it apart and reconstruct it.
There was one that showed
It
the
isn't just
pillars,
a
so-
money for
it isn't
that.
just a repair job.
Right.
I've seen a picture somewhere that has some over the top.
That was Lake Views.
Or it's down at the fairgrounds. There's stone pillars at the fairgrounds that have.
Had an arch over it.
It had an arch over it, the Asa Plat.
I've never
Yeah.
seen anything.
No, the Asa Plat didn't have.
We're gonna get
Didn't
knowledgeable
it have
about
the
this year.
thing
We're gonna
over it?
die someday.
No, because this had the lights on.
Just the
I was
lights,
thinking maybe we
okay.
had to put a book together with all the historical photos of Sac City so people
Should,
don't have this
we
problem
should do
in the
that.
future.
That would be a
Just
good
a photo book.
project.
Yeah, that'd be a
That
good
would be a
project.
good project.
I've got 2 full-length DVDs that are filled with photos of Sac City.
But
There you
it would,
go. Well,
it would
then you
be a
need to
good,
copy them and give them to her so she's got them someplace too, so.
I have a lot of photos
Yeah.
that I changed the subject.
Yes.
Maybe a historic photo calendar.
That'd be cool.
Photos. I think it would be.
It would be a
good
moneymaker.
fundraiser for some of our
Think so?
projects. I've seen another community do it. Some training I went to. I think it was ours of all places.
And I think it wouldn't cost much money per calendar.
No. Instead of
Snapfish and, places like that do
Well,
it.
every of the banks do some calendars. Maybe we could get one of them on board with doing historic photos instead of.
Well, let's ask Iowa State Bank, because they're the ones that do it all the time, yeah.
What if we did an historic photo calendar in conjunction with a Christmas tour of homes?
That'd be cool.
that would be good.
The thing is, people don't. It's nice that the bank does something like that.
We don't want to buy them.
Nobody has calendars anymore, do they? I mean, I don't even have a
Oh, I
calendar
do.
in my
I have
house.
to have a calendar because if I don't
Yeah.
have one on my refrigerator, I forget things.
I was looking in my laundry room and discovered that my calendar was still 2013. That tells you how much I.
Well, I suppose a lot of you people use these. I don't use
Well,
these.
they use the phone or the
Yeah.
computer, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even, or
Well,
I
see-
have my calendar of meetings that I
I have
use
my
for
calendar
years.
in the refrigerator and I walk every day, every time I walk by it, I look at it. Because otherwise I forget.
Well, it's nice to get it out there. I was just thinking that maybe the bank, if the bank's gonna print them anyway, maybe they would take, if we could provide them with photos, they'd take the photos and do it.
Didn't hurt. I'll ask.
We don't have
Steve
any money to
Spots.
subsidize a project like that.
Chip puts out a calendar too.
Yeah, he does. Those are huge.
I know, but
Those are way too big to
Yeah.
even put in your house. You know, it's like, we're not eligible with
No,
that.
I
We
just
couldn't
have
find a
I
place to put
just
it in
have
the
a
office.
regular one.
the bank does a regular service.
You want to talk to them?
Yeah, I'll ask Steve and see.
Because you probably have enough photos, good quality photos to, at least for 12 months, or you could even do
Yeah.
4 on a month.
Is there anything you want to do with proceeds or one, or just let the bank handle, or let Steve decide, or?
Well, I assume that they pay for those, so.
I would say,
The important thing is if they could get them out, people would take an interest in the historical stuff. So,
That'd be a good point.
yeah,
so
I
you
mean,
could start there, and if people, if they like that, then maybe you could put together a book or something, you know?
Well, I-
Use Snapfish or something like that to put together.
I have,
People quit saying, where's that picture? Hell, I don't know, it's in the new book.
Yeah,
the along Iowa's Historic Highway 20, I mean, there's this whole series of like postcard books that are out. You know. I have been talking to them about doing a Sac County book. And again, trying to get the time to get everything together, but they are,
This is gonna make Sac City a landmark for historic, National Register of Historic Places.
And then we're gonna have to start fixing our infrastructure so people can come in to visit, not fall in the manholes and drive on the streets that are terrible and all
We
that kind of
chatted
stuff.
briefly about the old library here the other day when he was in. Just thinking it's 103 years old this year. So that one probably should go on at some point.
that one's been determined eligible. Just needs the application done.
Well, you know who the owner is.
Yep.
4.5 hours yesterday, Christine and Murphy oiling upstairs.
I know, that's what you have to do,
With
doesn't
help
it?
from someone else, it took that long.
You know what works really good is that. It's a red and white can. Spray it on there, man, it makes everything look brand new.
Liquid gold.
Liquid
It's
gold,
liquid gold,
yeah.
I found some.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I always had
Makes
that.
everything really slippery.
Yes. You don't put it on the table, because then you'll get.
That's
Yeah,
what I
oil
figured
on
out.
the table.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not good. Okay, anything else?
Probably need to set a next meeting date, honestly.
Which is scary, right?
Which is scary, but I mean, it's particularly if we're looking at a Christmas tour of homes, we need to do something.
oh, we need to, yeah. And didn't you say we had to meet 4 more times before the first of the year? 3?
We have to meet 3
We
times.
have to meet a total of 3, so
Total.
this is one.
But yeah, we need to meet again, I mean, definitely.
'Cause,
We're
I mean,
doing this.
first of all, for us to stay in good standing as a CLG,
Right.
we need to have our meetings, because I would like to be able to, like, apply for some grant funding. One, to try and get a new floor in the Chautauqua building would be one thing I'd really like to do, and,
I think actually we probably need, since we're gonna do this Christmas walk, we need to get together in September to coordinate if we.
yes.
So we have.
If we can, just make sure we make it fly.
Are we
Right.
sponsoring this, or are we sponsoring along with Chamber Main Street, or?
I think it would be
or
nice-
The Arts Council, or what are we doing?
I think it would be nice if we sponsored it.
I do too.
So, where do we get the money to do the publicity and stuff like that, or do we depend on somebody else to do that for us?
I think that I'll ask the chamber, because we need to have some historical projects to keep our accreditation,
Okay.
so I'll find out. It shouldn't be that
So
much
we operate
to
with no
publicize.
funds. Zero funds. You can't do everything with zero funds.
No.
No,
So,
but I
just
think,
question, committee of the city?
yeah. I mean, I think we could get some money to underwrite.
Lynn, I have a question. Are you planning on having a charge on a ticket to go through these, or?
I would think we would want to.
And then, and then would you put it in this organization's for use of advertising if we needed it again for
I mean,
different
yeah,
things?
I would think we could do something like that to, you know.
Well, there's another, then we have to print tickets, so.
The church, what do they charge to go?
See there, it used to be
Well,
$5 or
Library
$7,
yeah.
but then they,
The
don't they
last-
usually have
The last
But then
time,
they
rolls and
threw in,
coffee or
yeah, and then they have
something?
well, the
rolls and
last
coffee.
time I went to the Catholic church when they had it, it was like $6 or $7, and that included your lunch.
Yeah, that,
And
I'm not cooking for 300 people.
no, we're not doing that.
No, I mean,
Not have
We'll
that,
have
no.
some napkins or something up at the office, but I'm not sure if it has meter on it for the tour of homes, but we could probably get rid of it.
I don't
So
think we
will
need to
look.
serve
I don't think we need to do
beverages or any
anything.
of that.
No.
No, just,
No.
Okay.
and if you put it,
Well, the idea would be to patronize the local restaurants and stuff, but you could have rolls and coffee somewhere.
Sure.
Well, they're gonna have to pick
no.
up their tickets somewhere.
right,
Or people aren't gonna want you to eat as they go through their homes.
no.
Yep.
I don't even know if you'd have to have coffee and rolls. I mean, most people want to look at these homes.
Yeah, I mean,
And you know, out of respect, I wouldn't want to eat at somebody's
No,
home.
I wouldn't want
No.
somebody eating in my home.
What about, if there could be some type of Christmas specials or,
Work it in with the businesses.
yeah, work
I'm
something
sure
with the
it's possible
businesses
with
that
us.
day.
I ain't too worried about that.
I mean, I think if you could, I mean, one question I think maybe people may want to ask is, you know, I think it's okay to ask people to take their shoes off, give them a bag or something to put their shoes in
You
as they
need
go.
those footsie things, but there
Those
should be a
little
box
footsies.
of them
I'm thinking
in your
there is.
chamber office.
I
Yeah,
don't know where they're
that you
at.
could step
Yeah.
on. That way they don't have to
Yeah.
worry about their
Yeah.
floors. I think that's a good idea.
I mean, I think if people are asking,
Right.
that would, I mean, I think,
I think I found that box one day. I'm like, what's this?
Yes, that's what they are.
But we need to meet so we can come up with an idea of what we're gonna charge and
yeah, I mean,
stuff, so.
Well, let's look at okay. How long is it gonna take us? I'm trying to figure out.
You guys, I hate to do this, but I gotta go. I gotta be in Storm Lake by 1:30.
Can we meet the second week in September? I know I can't, the third week, I'm booked all week, so.
how about,
I can't meet on the 10th.
You know, PDI's conferences.
how about the 8th of September, which is a Tuesday?
8th or 9th?
That would work for me. I just can't meet on the,
I can't meet this week.
I can't meet on the 10th. The Tuesday would work. The 8th.
Try
Would
that.
the 8th work for you?
Any day. If
that
it's
work
at
for you?
noon time,
I
it's a
don't know.
good time
I won't
for
know
me.
Till I get home.
Okay. Well, let me know on that. We'll see you guys later.
Thanks, Jackie.
If you
Thank
could
you.
find, I think Chamber Main Street did the tour of homes the last.
So
If you
Carol
could
was
find
gonna go
anything
ahead.
on
Do I
that
need to
with
call her
ticket
when I get home
prices or
from my other
anything like
meeting
that?
to?
If you would,
I
just to
will.
do a
Just-
follow-up or send her a text or
Okay, then I'm
something.
gonna have her put in.
Because I haven't
We're
seen
not gonna
any.
have a meeting this month.
Okay.
We'll start in September.
Like I said, I just think that we, if any way possible, we need to be there Saturday.
Okay.
And then just alert the restaurants so that you could actually put that on the publicity too. Maybe they have small,
Yeah.
you know, so you
I
have
don't-
buffet on that day or
We're gonna shoot on the 8th.
something. Try that.
What time?
Noon
12:45?
probably unless somebody
Noonish.
has an issue, yeah.
Here are these, they like triplicates.
Of course they do.
So, yes,
So
yeah,
am I,
Yep.
did you say the city might be able to provide some funds and we still want Chamber to go along with promotion for it? Right?
I think we want to do it in conjunction with the chamber Christmas
I
events.
think we should.
So that you get tied in with the whole.
We
Yeah.
get discounted advertising, so it would only make sense to do that.
You guys are trying to get the word out just in Sac City?
Oh, no.
no, I think,
They'll use social media and stuff too, but I still think posters and all that kind of stuff work almost better. I mean, you can't just depend on Facebook, that's for sure, so we know that. I'm surprised they don't want a date on here. You gotta fill that out?
I have to include the minutes of the meeting with it. It has the date on it.
Good. One more thing I need to get done this week, huh?
I think it's just kind of exciting to get some of the properties actually getting some recognition anyway.
Take it?
It's either Denise or Ross. I just hope it's not any complaints for changing the website.
Geez, how many we need?
3 for each. They're separate.
Let's
I
have a
did not know
weekend.
there was a Judge Duffy.
Judge Duffy.
D-U-F-F-I-E, like the ale.
Of course, I mean, the whole,
It was D. Gardu, but he was only a judge for a year. He loved that title, didn't he?
I don't see any streets named after him.
Early Street.
Early Street, yeah.
Charlie Carr. I'm not.
I mean, that the list of ownership of that property is just amazing.
I'll bet, with apartments and everything.
Oh, no, even before that.
The hospital.
At one point, he deeded it to his wife. His wife deeded it to the kids. The kids deeded it back to the parents together. And then the parents deeded it to the wife and the kids.
Was somebody sick?
And the kids deeded it back to him, and this was a 5-month period.
Was there somebody sick?
I think he was having financial issues.
Oh, that could be.
Sounds like they were having a
That's gonna be my
fight.
guess.
Yeah.
Thanks, Shirley. And I think what it is, I think there were some financial issues that were going on. So it just, it was just like playing this, and he was an attorney.
Yeah, reading through this is very educational for the community.
Do I have your email? It's brucealperry@.
Gmail.com, yeah.
I didn't know the Yules one time owned the property with the depot.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't
Plumbing
for
did.
sure the year that it stopped being property, 72. I knew it was around there, but I didn't know for sure.
Well, there was a book in the library that was Dale Schneering had kind of self-published memories of an old shepherd with shepherd spelled wrong.
Oh, that's right.
Right?
S-H-E-P-A-R-D. Sick. But, and he had some of that information, which, and, if you can document it, even if he's, I think he would have been accurate at that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, by far,
Yeah.
by far.
He should have been.
But it's,
That's
And-
Jerry Schultz's old bus
Yeah, it does.
with the stripe.
and Bobby's house is, there's some interesting stuff in there.
Yep. Okay, anything else for the good of the cause? Ready to go? Well,
Yep.
meeting adjourned then. We'll wait for your email.